Hey guys, it's Chelsa Messenger with Picks and Parlays. We're doing a very special holiday version of our NFL Rapid Fire where we go down the line, hopefully give you a bunch of winners, and if not, at least some good information to base your bets on.
We've got a promo code. The code is HOLIDAY for 20% off the entire site at picksandparlays.net.
We've got Craig Trapp joining us. And Craig, we're starting with Giants and Ravens. Ravens minus 11 here. The total is 45. Giants 5-9 on the year. Ravens are 9-5. Giants have lost 2 in a row. The Ravens have won their past 3. So what do you like in this one?
It's a lot of points to cover for a Baltimore team that's one-dimensional. They pretty much don't have a passing game at this point. I mean, if you're the best team in the league and you can just run it down people's throats, that's one thing. It's a whole different thing between winning games and winning against the spread. So I'm going to take the underdog. Even see some 10.5s out there, but we'll call it 11. I think the Giants get the job done. Keep it within single digits.
Yeah, I'm taking the under here just because, as you said, low scoring between these two. The Ravens actually, I guess, have scored a lot of points, but very one-dimensional. And the Giants have scored just 30 points total over their last 3, just 9 passing touchdowns this entire season, and they're going against a Ravens secondary top 10 in touchdowns allowed through the air. And then the Giants defense actually pretty solid this season, especially against the run, which is key against the Ravens. Giants rush defense ranking 6th in yards per carry and 12th overall in yards per play. Give me the under. Next up, we've got the Colts and the Steelers. Colts minus 1.5. The total is 44.5. This line flipped since the Steelers had that embarrassing loss to the Bengals on Monday Night Football. Craig, do you still think there's life in the Steelers? Or are you going the opposite way?
Now you imagine 11 wins in a row, then you lose 3. At least we know Juju Smith's not going to be dancing on anybody's logo since they're playing at home here. But I do like the Colts. I just think at some points you have to fade teams that are playing bad, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are playing bad at this week. And on a short rest week, I'm going to take the Colts and a team that's at least more balanced. I mean, right now, this Pittsburgh Steelers team needs to be able to find a way to run the ball again. And I don't think that's going to happen against a pretty good Colts defense.
Yeah, I'm on the Colts too, and I'm a little torn about it just because when it comes to betting, sometimes you like to get some value on teams that look like they're trending in the wrong direction, and maybe they surprise some people. But I think if I bet on the Steelers here and they prove me wrong, I would never forgive myself. So let's take the Colts. Next up, we've got Carolina and Washington. The R words, or the football team, minus 2.5. The total is 44.5. The Panthers are riding an 8-game losing streak. Although Teddy Bridgewater, 19-2 against the spread on the road in his career, but also Ron Rivera, revenge game here. The former coach of the Panthers and his new football team, 9-5 against the spread and close to winning the NFC East. So who do you like in this one?
So somebody's got to buck a trend here. 6-1 against the spread for Carolina on the road, and Washington's 5-2 against the spread at home. So something's got to go. I kind of think you stay with this hot Washington team against the spread. I mean, this team's been really good as of late, and I think they'll at home. I think they'll do just enough. They have the better defense, and at this time of year, you can have weather and all those kinds of things. I think you got to be able to run the ball, and you need to be able to play defense. And Washington can at least play defense. Carolina has struggled to do both of those this season. So I think you take the Washington team minus the 2.5 here.
Yeah, I think Ron Rivera is going to be especially motivated to win this one. Riverboat Ron probably going to go for it in a few situations because he wants to beat his old team. I don't care if Dwayne Haskins was at a strip club earlier this week. Ron Rivera has done such a great job of keeping this team together and motivated through all of the chaos that's been Washington's season. Let's take the football team here. Next up, we've got the Rams and the Seahawks. Seahawks are favored this one, minus 1.5. The total is 47.5. The Rams are 9-5 this year, 8-6 against the number. The Seahawks are 10-4, 7-7 against the spread. Craig, what's the play?
Rams lose to the Jets last week. Can you imagine if you lose at home to the Jets and then go on and beat? This is the game that matters for them, because if they beat Seattle, I believe they have a chance then next week to win the division. So it's a pretty important game for the Rams. I just think Seattle at home is going to be really tough to beat. They're 5-2 against the spread at home as well. I'm going to take the more consistent offense. It's definitely been Seattle this year. I'm going to take Seattle minus 1.5. At least the Seattle defense has came around a little bit, because the first half or even 2/3 of the season, Seattle defense was terrible. I think if they just do enough, keep that doubt in the mind of the Rams team that was terrible against the Jets, I think Seattle will win this and cover. that small number of 1.5.
Oh man, I feel like the numbers are telling me to take the Rams just because they've won
Yeah.
5 of their last 6 against the Seahawks, but it's hard to play them, obviously, off a loss to the Jets. But I think I like the under a little bit better. It's 9-2 over the last 11 for the Rams, and it's 6 straight for the Seahawks. So I'll be taking the under in this one just because also the last meeting between these two, a low scoring affair with the Rams winning 23-19. So I'm going to hold my nose and hope for the best. And then the opposite end, we've got the Titans and the Packers. Packers are -3.5. The total is 55.5. One of the higher totals of the week because we've got 2 of the best scoring offenses in the NFL. A good one here, but obviously really hard to go on the road to Lambeau in December for the Titans. Craig, what's the play in this really good matchup?
Well, how do you beat a good offense? You keep them on the sideline, and that's what this great Titans rushing offense with Henry and company can do. So I do think the Titans have what it takes to go into Lambeau and win, and of course that means they would cover. I think over here, telling you how many points this is going to be in Tennessee. The last basically since they've switched to Tannehill at quarterback, this team can really score points because off the play action pass, Tannehill's as good as anybody. And then we know Aaron Rodgers is having another MVP season. I think he'll come in second because Mahomes is having such a good year. But I do think he'll put up some good numbers here. Titans defense isn't great. They're not, I mean, they lost to the Bengals because they couldn't stop Joe Burrow. And I think Aaron Rodgers is a little better than him. So let's take the over 55.5, 56, wherever you get it at. I think it definitely goes over.
Yeah, all aboard the Titans over train because that's where I'm headed again this week. Both of these teams have gone over 55 points in 7 of their games this season. 2 great offenses, as I mentioned, 2 very mediocre defenses. The Titans defense let the Lions convert on 9 of 11 third downs, and that's with Matt Stafford, who is incredibly banged up. Imagine what they're going to let Aaron Rodgers do. So, yeah, I think that there's going to be a lot of scoring in this one, not to mention King Henry, probably going to pile up some yards against this Packers defense. Also, take a look at the weather just before you bet, just because, things can get a little iffy up in Lambeau. But that's going to do it for our rapid fire picks on this holiday week. Best of luck, and thanks for tuning in.